This video is brought to you by CMU's Global Communication Center and uses research-based information to help you write more effective and professional emails. Emailing professors or other professionals, like potential employers, can be tricky because we care about their impression of us. The difficulty increases when we make requests of the reader as we are imposing on their time. And it becomes even more difficult if you and your recipient come from different cultures. Anytime we write professional emails, we're ultimately balancing two primary concerns: clarity, which we can think of as directness, concision, and organization, and respect, which includes formality, gratitude, and acknowledgement of choice. We can think of respect as a continuum from high to low. Likewise, we can think of clarity as a continuum from clear and concise to wordy and confusing. Often, these two concerns seem to be in competition. For instance, please provide feedback ASAP is concise and direct, but rude and demanding. In contrast, would it be possible for you to respond with feedback is clear and polite, but less concise. This video teaches 3 strategies for balancing clarity and respect when writing emails in a US context. And we will discuss how to make it as easy as possible for the reader to respond, thus making it more likely you will get a favorable response. We have already discussed how please provide feedback ASAP can be perceived as low respect compared to would it be possible for you to respond with feedback? Imagine you are a professor and a student states this in their email: "Attached is my document. I am trying to improve it. Thank you so much for all of your help." Where would you place this email on this grid? Most readers would agree that the request demonstrates respect. But is it also clear and concise? Unfortunately, many readers will be confused as to what this student writer is asking. Is the student merely updating you on their progress or asking for your feedback? You are now left with a choice: send a clarifying email, provide feedback, or not respond. The student's email, while it isn't rude, is unclear and ineffective because the reader isn't totally sure how to respond. It is important to clearly and directly state the point of the email. When making a request, this means that we should explicitly ask for the thing we need. For example, would it be possible for us to meet to discuss X? Would you be willing to write me a strong letter of recommendation? If possible, would you mind providing feedback on X? And I was wondering if you could let me know the status of my application. For many writers, explicitly asking for something like this seems rude because it seems much too direct and therefore demanding. We avoid sounding demanding by using softening language. Softening language includes the more respect we want to show a reader, the more we use these softening phrases because they acknowledge that the recipient has the choice to not do the action. Statements that lack softening phrases, like please provide feedback, are really a thinly veiled command. We should avoid seeming as if we are commanding our reader, particularly if that reader is in a high power position. Here are some additional examples of softening phrases that are routinely used to make polite requests in US contexts. You can find many more examples of softening phrases by searching the internet with search terms such as softening phrases or softening expressions. Clear and concise email communication does not just include phrasing your email clearly, but also making it easy for your reader to respond concisely. You've probably noticed that Americans are almost always busy. They are obsessed with time. In the American workplace, we show politeness by showing respect for time. This means saving readers the time and trouble needed to read our entire email or to respond. Here is an email that employers commonly receive. I read the job posting on Handshake and I am really interested. Could you tell me more about this position and what you are looking for in applicants? Whereas writers of these emails think they are demonstrating interest and initiative, readers of this email are likely to be annoyed at how difficult it is to respond. What type of information does the writer need? What did they not understand about the job posting or website? Because it would take a long time to respond, chances are this writer would not receive a reply. The writer would be better off simply applying for the job or asking a specific question that would genuinely affect how they might write their application. Let's look at another example of an email that requires too much work from the recipient. Take a look at this email and see what you think. Hello, Dr. Einstein. I hope you are well. I was wondering if we could meet this week or next to discuss the theory of relativity that you presented in class last Wednesday. I understand you are really busy, but would appreciate a chance to ask some follow-up questions. With thanks. This email does many things well. It has a specific request, making it clear that the writer would like a meeting. It expresses gratitude. It uses softening phrases, such as, I was wondering if, and I would appreciate. It also acknowledges that the reader is busy and might not have time to respond. Overall, this email does a good job demonstrating respect. But it is actually not easy for Dr. Einstein to reply in a way that would be helpful to the writer. Here are some of the questions and thoughts you might have if you were Dr. E. Why doesn't the student just come to my scheduled office hours? Does the student not know when these are? Or are they unavailable during those times? Does the student want me to list all of the times I am available in the next week? That takes too long. I'm not going to do that. How long does the student imagine this meeting lasting? Should I set aside 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour? Is this a question about my lecture? Should I share my answer with the whole class? Or is this question specific to something the student is working on? You can imagine that responding to this email would take a lot of time and mental energy. Moreover, it would probably lead to many more emails back and forth with the student, thereby compounding the issue. In that sense, this email, while concise, is not very efficient. It wastes time. Here is a revised version. Hello, Dr. Einstein. I hope you are well. I have a few follow-up questions regarding our class discussion of the theory of relativity. As I have been researching for my final project, I realize I am a bit confused by general relativity, particularly as it relates to black holes. Unfortunately, I have a class that conflicts with your regular office hours. Would you be available to meet for 20 to 30 minutes this week or next? Here is some of my availability. If none of these times work for you, I can send my full list of availability. I understand you are busy and this might not be possible. In contrast to the first email, this email shows the writer anticipating Dr. E's key questions and makes it easy to respond. Dr. E can easily respond, next Tuesday at 8 a.m. works for me. See you then. A downside of making it easy for your reader to respond may be that you need to include more information in the email, thus making it less concise. We can compensate for this lack of concision by making the email easy to skim. Notice how this email makes it easy for Dr. E to find the request and the times the writer is available. We can also help recipients respond quickly by proposing solutions. Although proposing solutions to someone who is in a powerful position would be considered rude in many cultures, in a US context, it is polite if done well because it saves the recipient time. The question is, how can we retain a respectful tone when proposing solutions while still being concise? Which email do you think would be more effective in receiving a favorable reply? Version A: Hi, Professor. I was sick yesterday and haven't been able to complete my homework due tomorrow. What do you think I should do? Thanks. And version B: Dear Professor Einstein, I hope you are well. This is Mike in your 200 class. I am very sorry to bother you, but I am sick and have been unable to complete the homework that is due tomorrow. May I turn in the assignment on Friday? Completing the homework and getting your feedback would help me better understand the theory of relativity, but I understand you typically do not accept late work. If you cannot make an exception, I completely understand. With thanks. Version A is clearly concise, but while the writer of the first email probably thinks they are being respectful because they are giving the person with the power the opportunity to outline options that best suit them, their email places a large burden on the reader. Chances are, the writer of email A will not get a favorable response. Email B, although more verbose, is by far the easier one to respond to, and is therefore the most polite. The faculty could simply say, Friday's fine, or counter with a different solution. The writer of version B, importantly, avoids sounding rude by showing they have done their due diligence. In this way, they are showing they understand and respect the faculty's perspective. In a nutshell, effective emails save the reader time, both in terms of how long it takes them to read or understand the email, and how effectively the reader can respond. Our last tip to increase the effectiveness of your emails is to show respect. Showing respect goes a long way towards showing that you are someone the reader wants to work with. Moreover, readers fully expect emails that contain requests to build in thank yous. So, lacking the appropriate expressions of gratitude can give the impression that the writer is entitled, demanding, or unaware of professional US standards. Now, you might be thinking, how can I do all this while still being concise? Let's take a look at a request for a recommendation letter. Pause the video to read this email. This email uses multiple strategies we have discussed: a direct request, softening language, preserving the reader's choice, and expressing gratitude. Yet it is only a few sentences long. This shows how you can balance concision with politeness strategies. You will also notice that this email can be read very quickly and it is easy to spot the request. Increase the effectiveness of your emails by saving your readers time. We do this by directly stating the point of the email, including explicitly making a request, acknowledging the recipient's choice, making it as easy as possible to respond, and expressing gratitude. Below are 3 common scenarios that you either have encountered or might encounter. Try to compose an email of 3 to 5 sentences for each situation. If you are completing this video for a class, please submit your drafts to your instructor. We will be discussing our versions in Part 2. We hope you found this video useful. Remember that the GCC is here to help you with all your communication needs. To book a free appointment with one of our consultants, visit our website. While you're there, you can click Explore Our Collection to see more tutorials. Thanks for watching.